There's a moment when you realize that the world can be changed in a heartbeat. It's not a grand speech, not some bold proclamation. It's just a small, quiet moment of understanding. A young boy, barely 12, walked into one of the most prestigious hospitals in Boston. He was wearing shoes too worn out for this kind of place, his clothes a little too shabby for the marble floors and polished walls of Brookline Medical Center. He didn't look like he belonged there. Actually, he didn't belong there. Not in the eyes of the staff, who shot him suspicious glances as he moved past. But he didn't care. Marcus Jackson wasn't there to fit in, and he wasn't there to make friends. He was there for one reason only: to save a little girl. An 8-year-old named Sophia Bennett, the daughter of one of the wealthiest men in Massachusetts. She had been in a coma for 6 months. No one could explain it. No doctor, no specialist. William Bennett, the pharmaceutical mogul, had spent millions trying to find an answer, flying in experts from all over the world. But none of them had been able to help. Marcus had come because of a promise he made to his grandmother. Ida Jackson was a healer, a woman who had passed on her knowledge of the old ways to her grandson. She'd taught him how to listen to the world, how to hear what others couldn't. And she'd told him there was something special about Marcus, something he needed to share with the world. So when the dreams started, when Sophia started appearing to him, trapped in a maze of darkness, Marcus knew he had to act. He wasn't a doctor, he didn't have a fancy degree, and he didn't have billions of dollars like Bennett. But what he had was something no one could buy: a gift. And in that gift, he knew he could help Sophia. But getting to her wasn't going to be easy. Marcus approached the front desk at Brookline, feeling out of place. A receptionist looked him over, her eyes narrowing. "Are you family?" she asked, her voice dripping with suspicion. "No," Marcus replied, trying to stand tall. "But I need to see Sophia. It's important." The receptionist didn't seem to care. Her fingers hovered over the security button under her desk. But before she could press it, a large hand gripped Marcus's shoulder. "Is there a problem here?" The voice belonged to Gerald Hoffman, the head of hospital security. Marcus turned to face him. He'd heard of Hoffman, a former cop with a reputation for keeping the hospitals safe. "I need to see Sophia Bennett," Marcus said. "I can help her wake up." Hoffman raised an eyebrow, looking him up and down with disdain. "Sure you can, kid," he scoffed. "And I'm the President of the United States." He eyed Marcus's visitor badge suspiciously. "This isn't yours," he said, his voice low with authority. "That's trespassing." Marcus didn't flinch. He stood his ground. "Please, sir. I've been dreaming about her. I know things about her no one else knows. She's going to die tomorrow unless you let me help her today." For the first time, Hoffman hesitated. Something in Marcus's voice, a raw certainty, made him stop and think. He pulled out his phone, dialing William Bennett, and soon enough, the billionaire arrived, flanked by 2 bodyguards who looked more like soldiers than security. "So you're the street kid who thinks he can wake my daughter?" Bennett's voice was laced with contempt as he looked down at Marcus, his eyes scanning the boy's worn sneakers and second-hand clothes. "I've spent millions," Bennett continued, "on the finest medical minds in the world. What exactly do you think you can offer that they can't?" Marcus looked up, his gaze unwavering. "I have a gift, sir. I've been seeing Sophia in my dreams. She's trapped between worlds, and I know how to bring her back. She told me herself she's running out of time." Bennett laughed, a cold, mocking sound. "Dreams? You break into my daughter's hospital to tell me about your dreams? Do you have any idea who I am? What I could do to you with a single phone call?" Marcus stood taller, his voice steady. "I know who you are. You're William Bennett. You built your company on the backs of the people you claim to help. You're the one who sold the medicine that hurt your daughter. You're the one who's been too proud to admit you were wrong." Bennett's face drained of color. He looked at Marcus as if he'd just slapped him across the face. "How do you know that?" His voice trembled, more to himself than to Marcus. "I know because I can see it," Marcus said quietly. "I know because I'm the one who can help." That was the turning point. Marcus's words landed on Bennett like a punch. And that's when everything changed. With no other choice, Bennett agreed to give Marcus 5 minutes. 5 minutes to prove that he wasn't just some kid who didn't know what he was talking about. 5 minutes to prove he could really help his daughter. But even in those 5 minutes, there was resistance. Bennett didn't want to hear it, didn't want to believe it. Yet, as Marcus explained his gift, the room fell into a tense silence. Marcus wasn't asking for anything in return. He wasn't promising miracles. He was just asking for a chance to try. And for the first time, Bennett hesitated. Sophia's room was quiet, the hum of machines filling the space as Marcus sat beside her bed. He took her hand and closed his eyes, reaching into the darkness, following the path he knew would lead him to her. In the hospital room, Bennett stood by, watching his daughter's vitals shift. Dr. Elizabeth Chun, a neurologist who had been treating Sophia, looked on in astonishment as Marcus's connection to the girl seemed to spark a faint response in her brain. But then, the door swung open. William Bennett, furious, stepped forward. "Get away from my daughter," he shouted, but Marcus didn't move. He stood tall, looking the billionaire in the eye. "You gave her those pills, didn't you?" Marcus said. "The ones your company made. The ones that hurt her." Bennett froze. His face went pale as the truth hit him. For the first time, he saw the consequences of his actions. And in that moment, everything changed. Marcus wasn't just a healer. He wasn't just a boy with a gift. He was a reminder that there are things more important than money, more important than power. Love, family, redemption. These are the things that heal us. "Please, Mr. Bennett," Marcus said, his voice steady. "I can help her, but I need you to let me." Bennett's resistance crumbled, and for the first time, he saw his daughter through new eyes. He saw the love he had been too proud to acknowledge, and he understood what he had to do. And just like that, the healing began. By the end of it, the unthinkable happened. Sophia woke up. She opened her eyes for the first time in 6 months, and the entire room went silent. The miracle was real. And in that moment, everything changed. Now, months later, Marcus had a new family. A family that had come to see him as their own. A family that had learned to listen, to accept, and to understand the value of a boy from Roxbury. A boy who had saved their daughter and, in the process, had taught them all what true healing really means. But the question still lingers. Will you believe in the possibility of the impossible? Will you let go of your doubts and see the world through different eyes? What if the miracle you're waiting for is just a little faith away? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about what's real, what's possible, and what we might be missing in the rush to prove everything with logic and reason. Because sometimes, the most powerful things in life are the things we can't measure.